The idea for an internationally refereed Journal of Bicol History first came to me in April 2019, more than 2.5 years ago. I first floated the idea on Facebook by posting a status update that read, "How about an annual journal of Bicol history?" To my surprise, it received encouraging responses from friends, colleagues, and historians as well, most notably Dr. Norman Owen, who immediately offered me a manuscript which we can include in one of our issues. As the months passed that year, the idea never left me. I used to spend my late Friday afternoons in libraries, in LaSalle, in Ateneo, poring through Philippine journals and trying to find the ones after which I can model the journal I had in mind. I came across Philippine Studies, of course, Ateneo de Manila. Then there's Philippine Quarterly of Culture and Society of the University of San Carlos, and then Xavier University's Kinaadman. So these were the journals after which our journal is modeled. I studied each and every one of them and then put together in my notes and in my mind an imaginary journal for Bicol history. It became an obsession. Then around January this year, I visited St. Jude Thaddeus Parish here and met with our cura and historian, Father Francis Tordilla. And I brought up to him the idea of setting up a journal of Bicol history. He could not have been more supportive. We then brought it up to Victor Nierva, who proposed something bigger, to form a professional organization. We gathered a few friends, colleagues, and former students and formed what is now Saysay Bicol, with a journal as our end among many other ends in mind. We then formed the editorial team, I the editor, Father Francis the associate editor, while serving as president of Saysay Bicol, and Vic agreed to do the designs. Ana Rodriguez and Marian Encinas, both professional editors, later joined us as manuscript editors, while Earl Hernandez, who's also here today, and Cristiana Micaela Embate, one of our MCs, completed the team as our editorial assistants. Colleagues from different institutions all over the Philippines and around the world also expressed their support for the project and accepted our invitation to become members of the journal's editorial board and editorial advisory board. Saysay, the Journal of Bicol History, however, is not an end in itself, but a means towards a greater end. It is a long-term commitment founded on the following fourfold vision. First, we aim to advance scholarship on Bicol history and Philippine local history in general by providing authors an internationally refereed platform where they can publish their work in conversation with previous and current historical studies on Bicol. We also subject manuscripts to a double-blind peer review, an integral aspect of our editorial process, because for knowledge to grow and scholarship to advance, critique is necessary. Situating one's work against the existing literature is another, in order to contextualize one's contribution to the larger body of historical knowledge. Second, we also aim to foster collaboration with historians, social scientists, and Bicol scholars all over the world, and build linkages with various institutions, such as universities, churches, local government units, cultural centers, and the general public where history also belongs. Advancing scholarship on Bicol history is a daring pursuit, and that is why it is going to take more than an individual to make it happen. It takes a village. It is therefore important to us in Saysay Bicol and in Saysay, the Journal of Bicol History, that we build this community. Third, we aim to document not only the past, but also the present for posterity. Journals reflect the times, and this, to my mind, is its most fascinating character. They are a living archive by which the spirit of the time is recorded. Journals will then serve as primary sources in the future for those curious enough to learn more about our time. Finally, we aim to tell the stories of Bicol's past, peoples, and culture to the rest of the country and the rest of the world. Saysay Journal is not a parochial, inward-looking, and closed-circuit journal. It is not one that is of, by, and for Bicolanos alone. We look to involve non-Bicolano authors in the conversation on Bicol, and likewise engage non-Bicolano audiences with our content. In the process, we hope to encourage our counterpart organizations from different regions in the Philippines to pursue more studies of their own localities. And later, maybe we can explore comparative studies where regions can have dialogues with each other. This vision is perfectly captured by Saysay Bicol's catchphrase, "Para sa urog kararom," and might I add, "kahiwas pang pagsaysay." Not only there is depth in the stories we will tell, but breadth as well. Exactly 2 years and 8 months after I posted that status on Facebook, and 9 months after we started the editorial process for the 2021 cycle, we now bring you the maiden issue of Saysay, the Journal of Bicol History. It opens with the Bicol Archaeological Project, which examines the lifeways and diverse indigenous responses to Spanish colonialism by investigating sites of activity in 3 riverine Bicol towns, Camaligan, Bombon, and Kipayo, which is now part of Calabanga. Written by Madeline Yakal, Stephen Acabado, and a team of archaeologists, anthropologists, and members of the clergy, the report discusses the findings of 3 investigations in Camarines Sur between 2016 to 2019. It is joined by 2 critical articles on the illustrious Bishop of Cáceres, Francisco Gainza, Jethro Calacday's Racializing Reform, Bishop Francisco Gainza, and the Creation of the Native Clergy in the Philippines, 1863 to 1879, and my article, Francisco Gainza, and the Establishment of the Escuela Colegio de Santa Isabel, the Pursuit of Hispanization in the Diocese of Cáceres. Earlier versions of these papers were presented during the Bishop Francisco Gainza Conference at the Universidad de Santa Isabel in December 2018. Jose Eos Trinidad's research note, Reciprocity, Conflict, and Negotiation Between the Big and Little People, and Renato Pelorina's tribute to John Larkin, champion of Philippine local history, complete the issue. Finally, I would like to acknowledge and thank our editorial board members for making this dream a reality. Stephen Acabado, Kirby Alvarez, Grace Concepcion, Ross Costello, Carla Gamalinda, Fernando Santiago, Jose Eos Trinidad, and Nicholas Michael C. I'm equally grateful for the members of our International Advisory Board, who not only serve as peer reviewers, but mentors of the editorial team as well. Patricio Abinales, Filomeno V. Aguilar Jr., Nicole Kuunjeng Aboitis, Most Reverend Rex Andrew Alarcon, DD, Fenella Canel, Greg Castilla, Richard Chu, Father Antonio De Castro, Dada Docot, Francis Navarro, Norman Owen, Renato Pelorina, Andrea Malaya Regrajo, Paz Verdades Santos, and Stephen Henry Tatanes. I also would like to acknowledge our contributors, the BAP team, led by Madeline Yakal, represented by Earl Hernandez here this afternoon, Jethro Calacday as well. I'd like to also thank the organizing committee of the online and the on-site launch, led by the journal's editorial team, and the members of Saysay Bicol, who are also here this afternoon. This litany of thanks will not be complete without thanking the Archdiocesan Shrine and Parish of St. Jude Thaddeus for hosting this afternoon's launch. Father Francis Tordilla, our Cura Parroco, and their dynamic social media team made up of Michael Pailado, May Velasco, Sofia Dipon, and Bea Roque. It does take a village. I end my message with an invitation for everyone to subscribe to our journal. For Bicol scholars and researchers, who might be watching our live broadcast right now on Facebook, please consider publishing your work with us in Saysay, the Journal of Bicol History. Like we always say, madya na po sa danay pang pakikipagsaysay.